Hi everyone, it is Bryn from Columbia City Bridal. If you are watching this video, it is for one of two reasons. The first reason is that you have downloaded the Ultimate Wedding Organizer and you want some additional help on how to use the organizer, or you found this video on YouTube and you have no idea what I am talking about. So if that is the case, head to the link below. It's my website and just type in your email and you will get an instant download so you can follow along if you are in the wedding planning process. So I have a PDF here and it has the table of contents. You are able to, at least on my screen, I can click on it and then it will go directly to that section. So if that works for you, that is awesome. As you can see, there are lots of categories. So the idea behind this organizer is not a timeline. You're not going to find very many sections on here that say, complete this 8 to 10 months before your wedding, because quite honestly, timelines are changing constantly. Venues are booking up faster than ever, so I always encourage you to book the most important things to you as soon as you can. You don't have to wait. If you do reach out and a vendor says, hey, please contact us, at such and such date, or we're not going to book 2026 weddings until such and such date, just set in your calendar and then come back to them. But yeah, if you're not sure, just go ahead, reach out. If it's too early, they will let you know. But if it's not too early, then you can go ahead and book. So with that being said, you scroll down here and you have your engagement date and your wedding date. Budget and guest count and priority list are the first two things here. Now, when you scroll down, you look directly on the left side. In the left column is all budget and guest count. Even if it continued on here, this is all budget and guest count. Over here, priority list, all the way down the right side. So if you have continuous notes, it would go down to this part of the second page there. So I just want to briefly go over some of these sections to help you understand what I mean by them. Now, my idea was I want to tell you things that the apps don't tell you about. So apps and websites, you can get checklists like timelines or whatever and basic information. Schedule your hair and makeup, great. But what are the little details that they don't tell you about your wedding day? And then when it is your wedding day, you're like, oh no, I need to figure out this. That's what I want to help you with, okay? So budget and guest count, your total budget. Who is contributing to your wedding and how much? This will help you with your budget, because lots of times you think it's this amount, but then grandma and grandpa are going to give you $2,000, or maybe they're going to pay for the photographer. So this is a way to keep organized how much money you're getting and where is it coming from. We have some different things in here to think about that I won't get into right now. Okay, so then. All right, priority list. What are the most important aspects for you? Of course, getting married to your partner is the most important thing, but I'm talking about, is it the venue? Is it the florist? Is it the caterer? What is the most important thing to you? So for example, I would say venue was very important to me because I wanted a specific, I had a specific vision, right? And so I knew of this place that I was going to, I just really wanted it, right? It fit my vision, it fit my budget. So number one, I would have put my venue. Two, flowers are really important to me, so I'm going to put my florist. Maybe photography is lower on the list. Maybe it's number one on your list. But making that priority list will help you know where you can put most of your money. If you know that there is a specific caterer you want and he's delicious and you want to make sure that your guests get that food, then put that in your number one. And then you can make sure that you can afford what you really want. So scrolling down here, we have savings. So where can you start saving money? If you are having to save up while you plan, which most couples do, how can you save money? Maybe you go out to eat 3 days a week. Well, you could cut back on that and put the money that you would save from going to the grocery store and making food at home and putting that towards the wedding budget. Maybe it's tutoring 3 days a week, and instead of using that money for fun money, you can just put it towards your wedding budget. How are you going to save your money? Are you going to just use your bank account, which would be more of like the short term? Or are you like, nope, I'm engaged, but I'm not going to get married for 5 years? You could do a high yield savings account. Those are all options. Venue, the name of your venue and different information to think about. When you see cocktail period, I like to call it a period because it could be 15 minutes, it could be an hour, you could have a cocktail period for 2 hours. So I don't really like saying cocktail hour because that does imply it is one whole hour, whereas a lot of people might just have it for 30 minutes. So when you see a cocktail period, that's what I'm talking about. And bad weather plan. Right? What are we going to do if we have bad weather? Sure, you're having an outdoor wedding and the reception is inside a barn. Oh well, and the barn might tell you, "Hey, like it's okay. We'll just move everything inside if it rains." What is that going to look like? Because God forbid it rains and then you're going to be stressing out the morning of your wedding thinking like, "Oh my gosh, where am I going to put this? Where am I going to put that? Where's the cake going to go?" and all that kind of thing. So, make sure you have a bad weather plan. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but just get like the really big things put somewhere, right? Like in the barn or whatever. So make sure you just have a plan for that. Down here, I do have make a plan. Who's going to help the guests from the ceremony to the cocktail period if in the same venue? See, these are things apps do not tell you about. So I want to help you think about these things so you're not scrambling the day of and be like, Mom, can you figure this out for me? Because you all have jobs you need to do and you need to focus on. So yeah, more information on there, things to think about. Total, how much is all that going to cost you? Save the date and website. I think I went through this, right? Yeah. Okay. Save the date and website. So just things to think about, right? Invitation, same thing. Music. Put amounts due in a calendar at least a week before the due date and set a special notification sound if possible. So if you are paying these things, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. If you can make a special sound for it, so you don't think it's just an email or something, and you're like, what is that? Oh, I gotta pay. Do that so you don't forget to pay, okay? Lots of vendors have different rules and it is impossible to keep track of unless you write it down or pay for it all up front, but we don't need to do that if you don't have to. All right, so flowers, checking off. All right, who needs flowers? What are you going to do with the brides and bridesmaids bouquets at the reception? You don't want to just have them laying on the table. So are you going to get vases there that you can put them in? Are you going to give them away? Like, it's totally up to you, but just to make that plan. Where can you reuse decor from the ceremony during the cocktail and reception? You are going to be spending money on that, so you might as well try to reuse it. More things for music to think about that the apps don't tell you about. The photographer and videographer, right? And so remember, there's lots of parts to this organizer, and if some don't apply to you, just skip it, right? You just put a big old X on it, or you can just leave it blank just in case you change your mind. Maybe you come in like extreme under budget and you're like, well, it would be nice to have a videographer and you can't afford it, then go for it, right? This is your wedding. You guys can make that decision as long as you are financially responsible. So I say go for it, right? Okay, so we have seating chart and arrangements. Who are the bride and groom going to sit with? Where are you going to sit at? And what is your seating chart like? Making a plan for that. Food and drink. Cake and dessert. Are you going to have late night snacks? How are the tables on a buffet going to be released? more about making a plan, things that you won't find anywhere, and then it's gonna be the day of, and you're like, oh, I need to do that. I need to figure this out. And if you have time now, you might as well get all this done now, right? So we have getting ready, hair and makeup, again, budgeting, seeing how much it all costs you. Wedding dress, this is really the only thing that I think I have a timeline on. 10 to 12 months if you are special ordering. You absolutely need to get your wedding dress 10 to 12 months, because by the time it gets in, you need to have 2 to 3 months for alterations, because you might get a dress that fits like a glove, but there's gonna probably be some nook and crannies, or maybe you want to that you need fitted, maybe you wanted to get sleeves sewn on. These things still take time, so make sure you go wedding dress shopping 10 to 12 months before your wedding if you are special ordering. There are rush shipping options available, but if you want to avoid that cost, go get your wedding dress, okay? Transportation. The night before, where are you staying? Who are you staying with? How are you going to get there? Do you want to leave your car somewhere? That kind of thing, right? All right, so coming down here, wedding rings, outside entertainment, highly recommend. If you can afford it and you want it, I highly recommend outside entertainment. That's like a photo booth, a live artist, a character artist, just something to keep people entertained during the cocktail period and even the reception. Could be a little keepsake too. Just something, like I said, keep the people entertained, and it'll be nice keepsakes for yourself. So always recommend that. Ushers, program passer, paper, gifts and registry, flower girl, ring bearer, the details for them, officiant, what kind of ceremony are you going to have? Is it going to be religious, not religious, mixed, generic? And whoever is officiating, they should be asking you those questions. Like, unless you're getting married in a Catholic church, well, then of course it's going to be religious. But if you are going to be married in the park, you need to find someone that is going to align with your beliefs and what you want. Schedule of events. What are you going to have for your whole evening or morning or afternoon or whatever, whenever you get married, right? The whole detail outline there. Favors. Are you going to have party favors? If you have young kids and you're like me, I want to make sure that they are entertained. So you could get little coloring books for them, coloring sheet with some crayons, anything like that. Not a necessity, but just something to think about. Party details. If you are somebody that wants an after party, additional decor and rentals before the big day. Morning after brunch, if you want that after party, bridal party order. One thing as a wedding planner, I always had the groomsmen and the bridesmaids were always confused. Like, I don't know which order I go in. And so I always had to write it out. So if you want to have that written out, so whoever needs it can just look and be like, okay, I'm walking down with so-and-so and we're going to be behind this person. That is for you. The section is for you. I definitely recommend that though. The rehearsal. Highly recommend having a rehearsal. It does not have to be in the venue. If your venue does not allow you to, it does not include a rehearsal time for you, and you don't want to spend the money at the place, I don't blame you. So go to the park or something, but just kind of try and visualize what it's going to look like. Like, oh, there is a pew, so at the pew we're going to start walking then, or so-and-so is going to open the doors and then you'll be able to go. Maybe the venue will coordinate all of that, and so it's just practice the steady pacing, right, of the walk down. How the bride is going to be released by dad. If dad walks down, or brother, or whoever really walks her down, are you going to give a hug? Are you going to give a kiss? What do you want to do while your dad starts to leave you? So like he's letting you go and then he's going to go back to his seat. What is that going to look like? Down here is tips for services. If you want to leave tips, something to think about. And then the total amount, how much I paid, and my budget reflection. So I'm over budget. What can I change? Maybe it's okay that you went over. You're like, oh, darn it, I didn't mean to, but I can afford it. Or you're like, oh no, okay, I can't actually do this because it costs too much. What are you going to change? So I am under budget or I'm right on budget. So down here is just a blank page, but you can definitely use that for notes or anything that you find useful. So I hope that you have found this useful. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to me at hello@brinsccbridal.com and I would be happy to help you. Thanks for watching.